Hello and welcome. I am back with another case by Jean Wolleh, who was the subject of my last video with a case called ATM about trying to pay out an amount of cash based on a set of notes. But so I mentioned in that one that Jean was a first-time case author, but he's both a first-time and highly prolific case author because he's since he wrote that one, he's written three more. But this one particularly caught my attention because I saw the tagline, Map But Different is a map case, only that the author didn't have the patience to create a map. I haven't read any further than this, but I love the idea, and I've seen lots of chit-chat about it in the MEWC community. I think this was actually the third case in order, but it's the one that I'm most excited to play next. So I'm going to do that. I'm not particularly going for a speed run because from what I've gathered from the comments, there's just lots of interesting stuff here, and so I would rather kind of take my time with it and kind of explore it. But in any case, let's get started. I'm going to come to the bonuses later. How many steps do you need to take from A1 to the goal if only horizontal and vertical steps are allowed? Okay, so obviously I'm going to import my thingies, whatever they're called, my lambdas. I have words. And for this, I can do add to row of that plus add to col of that. So then the row number plus the column number, and we're starting from 1, 1, so we want to subtract 2. And that does indeed match. So we go on. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave this here. I'm not worried about seeing the feedback when I'm on exploration mode rather than zoom mode. How many steps do you need if horizontal, vertical, and diagonal steps are allowed? Okay, so for this I'm going to use first, I'm going to use add to RCRef, so I convert everything into row column references, which is a million times the row number plus 1,000 for reasons that I have ended up regretting, and I'll probably take that out next time I revise my lambdas, plus the column number. Yes, column number. Wait a second, but this, hang on, what is this? This is not, oh, sorry, this is a from to. Gotcha. Okay, so first we need to regex extract. And this is going to be from here. We need to regex extract slash pl plus slash d plus. No, none of that. And return mode all matches, I think. Yes, good. Then I want to convert add to rcref of those. And then, okay, fine. Let both be that. I have a dist between, but there is no argument packing or unpacking. So I'm going to say dist between at both and index both 2. And then, so the way I've written my dist between is it applies a function to the row difference and the column difference. So if diagonal steps are allowed, then it's just the bigger of the two. Because let's say if there are more vertical steps, then by the time you've made the vertical steps, if you make some of those into diagonals, you'll have made all the horizontal steps as well. So it's just that, and sure enough, that seems to work. And we're away. Okay, what is the total distance if horizontal, vertical, and diagonal steps are allowed used by the, okay, so this is actually, wait, no, now there's more. Goes from this to this to this to this. Okay, got it. Fine. So here we'll regex extract from this slash pl plus slash d plus. This is actually very similar to something I just did earlier today. No, I guess I shouldn't talk about that yet because it's embargoed for now. You'll see it when it comes out presently. All matches. Okay, so then there are 4 positions. So we'll say let all be that. And actually, oh yeah, fine. So we'll say all add can be that. And new line, all row column references can be add to rcref of all add. And then pairs can be index. Index all. Actually, no, sorry, I don't want pairs because again, no unpacking. So I want starts can be index all RCR sequence count RCR, sorry, count all RCR minus 1. Because you're going to start from the first, in this case there are 4, so you're going to start from the first 3 of them, and then you're going to end at the last 3 of them. So let's just each stack starts and ends. Look at that, make sure that seems sensible. I think that's right. Okay, so then we want dist between, and this does work with arrays, so we're going to say dist between starts, ends, and some square. That'll give us the square of the Pythagorean distance. And then we just need to take the square root of that and sum them up, and hopefully that will match. 1023258. Yeah, that looks good. And do we round? Nope. All right, happy days. Nice. All right. What are the shortest possible total distance if horizontal, vertical, and diagonal steps are allowed? Use the... What? Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, that'll require a custom lambda, but that's fine. So hang on, let me just put this value somewhere, and then I'll copy this formula down. This is the nice thing about having it written with a custom lambda. So we can get rid of the square root. So what is the distance between 2 points if... hang on. Oh, the shortest possible total distance. Ooh. Okay, hang on. This is harder than I thought. All right, so we've got to solve a couple of questions here. So let's break it out a little. Let's grab this, bring it down here, and just give me h stack starts and ends. Starts and ends. No, sorry, can't even do that. So let's just do all RCR. Okay, so the first, actually, let's vstack, because then I can make sure that my thing is working. Vstack all RCR with all add. Okay, so now I want dist between, let's say this and this for a second, where it's the Pythagorean distance. So lambda RC, it's going to be min of RC times square root of 2. So in other words, if you have a certain number of vertical moves to make and a certain number of horizontal moves to make, then your number of diagonals will be the smaller of those two, and each diagonal will take square root 2 plus max of RC minus min of RC. Okay, so now, okay, so let's do this. Let's sort by, so first I want to see if my thing is working. So sort by this, we'll we'll search all add in here. And actually it's still vstack, so I can see I've got them right. So all add and that, sorted by the order they appear in that string. So start with elm, yes, that's good. Okay, so now, oops, all right, that's pointing to the wrong place. So the answer on that shortest path should be 704, nope, 688. Uh-oh. I'm looking for 688,000, and what am I getting? Nothing like that. Oh, I'm not that far off, 704,000, but it's not the same. So what are we doing here then? So if I want to get from here to say there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, So 5 and 2. And the way to do that would be 1, 2 diagonal steps and 1, 2, 3 vertical steps, which is absolutely that times root 2 plus difference, which I guess could just be abs of r minus c too, but it does nonetheless seem to be right. Yeah, yeah. What if we just did straight Pythagoras? Just between these are the starts and these are the ends, and some square, and then square root of that. That comes to 688,676. Ah! Okay, so then I think the mention of horizontal, vertical, and diagonal steps here might be a mistake. I think it's just Pythagoras. Okay, that's fine. But now I need to consider all the arrangements. So, per com. Now, hang on. Do these all have the same number of elements? Would be a good first question. So let's say count of all RCR. Yes, they do. Okay. That begs the question, do I have to calculate per com all those times? Probably not. Let's just do per com 6, 6. Permutation is 0. I think that's it. Let's see. 6, and there are 720 rows. Yes, good. So let's call that perm 6. Okay, so then I don't have to recalculate that every time. So I can say by row index all RCR by perm 6 lambda row. And it's going to be sum just between drop. And actually it would be a little easier if this was in a column, wouldn't it? Let's just make this a column. And that part's still fine. All right, so drop all RCR. The first drop the last one, so that you get the first n minus 1, and then drop all RCR the first one, and then the function is going to be sum square. And then we're going to want to take the square root before we sum it. A lot of closing brackets, and then I want the smallest of those. No! What? What the absolute? What? 2 million? No! What? What? That's disappointing. Don't love that. Okay. How? All right, well, let's do it longhand for a minute. Let's take this. Let's take this as well. Okay, then let's do index all RCR by perm 6. Okay. And then I also want, where's my sort by version? I lost it. Let's get it back. Let's sort by vstack all add with all RCR by search all add in this. Ooh, what? Oh, sorry, yeah, get rid of the 2 call for this bit. Okay. So then I guess really what I want is to get a numerical version of that. So let's then X match this against all add. So on 5, 2, 3, 1, 4, 6. so let's do this. 5, 2, 3, 1, 4, 6. Here. Okay, so then let's do dist between this and some square, and then let's take the square root of that. That gives me exactly what I want. All right, so why is my biro going wrong then? Oh, but it's for a stupid reason. All right, oh, I've deleted my original biro anyway. All right, well, let's see if I can go back to it, because I do want to see if I did it wrong. Here we are. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's because you're a moron, and because you used all RCR instead of row, which is the variable for the row. Ugh. That's not quite enough. Okay. So, we've got index that perm 6, yes. Add a 1 just to be safe. No, it doesn't like that any better. Distance between drop. Oh, sorry. No. Yeah, my saying that this would work better if I put this in a column was complete nonsense, because I'm operating on a row here, so I need to drop and pick columns. Okay, there we go. Sorry, that went down a real rabbit hole, but there you go. That's what happens sometimes with neat single cell solutions. Ahem. Okay, how many steps do you need at least? If all given addresses have to be visited, use hexagonal steps. Yellow brick road. Okay. Let's assume that they can all be reached from one another. So okay, the hex dist. I need a lambda for that, which I did write once upon a time, and then I kind of forgot about it again. So let's see. This is basically populate alternate rows. So basically, if yeah, I think hexagonal steps. Okay, so if the row difference is, let's say 5, and the column difference is 3, well, actually that might not even be valid, but let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So let's say from here, orange. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that is a valid move. There is a parity consideration. Not all moves are valid, but that's fine. So for that, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So what are we saying? I think we're saying if it's the row column. So lambda RC, if the column difference is less than the row difference, then the number of steps you need is just the rows. And if it's greater, then you need the rows plus, so the rows gets you somewhere, let's say that gets you to here, and then you need to do the rest in C minus R over 2. I think that's right. Apply that to this row difference and this column difference. And that tells you 5 steps, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And now find ones that are different. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not good. Let's go there, for example. So here you go 1, 2, and then 3. That's a row difference of 2 and a column difference of 1, 2, 3, 4. So say 2, 4. Ooh, ref, what? Huh? Okay, is this because you don't like me using? Ugh. R, replace with underscore R. And then I'm going to make you really mad because valid, and then control FC, replace with underscore C. Nope, that's not it. What? How is this a ref? I'm thoroughly confused. Oh, sorry, I missed a plus. Tried to use R as a function. Okay, good. So, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, okay, good. So I think this is my hex dist. So I will take robot and save lambda as, and I probably honestly should just keep a hex dist in my collection from now on, because Kansas has had enough inspiration that this is probably not the last time this is going to turn up. Okay, so you need to okay, so it's still the same basic setup as last time, but just with a new distance lambda. And that distance is, sorry, now we can get rid of the squirt on the outside, and one of the bajillion closing brackets, and use hex dist. 718, yes, good. Okay, ooh, no. What? What? Oh, there might not always be 6. That's a possibility. Let's check that. So I just need regex extract and count A of that. Oh yeah, there are 7. So how on earth did that get the right answer if I didn't? No, never mind, I don't care. All right, so for com 7, 7, that's it, right? 5040, yes. So we'll call that perm 7. Just again, saves me recalculating every time. I don't understand how this, anyway, doesn't matter. Ooh, what? Oh, I must have named it perm underscore 7, yes. Don't understand how the rest of them turned out right. That makes no sense. Why would I'm not going to dwell on it now, but I'm very confused as to why some of the answers came out right. They should all have come out wrong. If we were missing a distance. Anyway, fine. How many steps do you need at least if all given addresses have to be visited? Only jumps like the chess horse are allowed. Ah. So now I begin to understand. There was some discussion in the thingy thing in the MEWC community about computing night distances between 2 addresses, and it's rather spoiled this for me because I do know the answer, more or less, but let's just check how many are we dealing with here. 7. Not sure I would have been able to work it out by myself, but anyway, I saw the answer, so no point in pretending I didn't. So the answer is, if you have a row difference and a column difference of, let's say, 17 and 12, and that might not even be a plausible night move, but that doesn't matter. So the idea was, so first was if, actually let's just say let R be this and C be this. So the idea was if and R equals C equals 2, that was one exception, then it just had to be 4. Otherwise, if, I think the other exception was if R plus C equals 1. Is that it? In which case it was 1, 2. Hang on. As you can see, I don't remember this perfectly. I do have a pretty good idea. So let's just tab for a second. Get these looking vaguely squarish. So if I've got a knight here, then in one move I can get here, 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 and here. Then in two moves I can get to there. Oh, sorry, I moved those wrong. I can get to there, and 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 there. But yes, to get beside yourself it takes 3 moves. And to get to these corners takes 4. And then the insight of this formula is basically that after that, it becomes kind of regular. So if you just move generally in the direction of this, there's a parity adjustment, but other than that, it just works. So, let's see. But so, sorry, I'm trying to remember which were the exceptions. I think that this and this were the exceptions that had to be separately coded, but I'm going to have to check that in a minute. But okay, for now, that'll do. So, if r plus c equals 1, then I'm almost sure that my distance thing operates on the absolute, because that's how it should, but let's double check that. Absolute, yes, good, that's what I thought. Okay, in which case r plus c equals 1 is absolutely fine. So if r plus c equals 1, then 3, otherwise, let, so the min came in, the minimum number of moves that a knight could require is the smallest of r over 2 c over 2, because you can't, like, you can only move 2 moves in one direction and 1 in the other. So if you're 8 columns away, 8 rows away or 8 columns away, you can't do that in less than 4 moves. But also, if you're, whatever, let's say the vertical is the bigger, God, I'm not going to try and gesture this. Let's come over here. So if you're in, let's say, roughly speaking, illustrations, shapes, lines. So if you're in roughly this, let's see, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, I think if you're in roughly that, no, sorry, a little bit off, but anyway. Yeah, if you're within roughly this range, or within kind of the equivalent, around the vertical or horizontal axis, then your biggest limitation is your number of vertical moves. But if you're, say, over here, then you're 5 rows away and only 4, no, you're 5 columns. Okay, so let's say you're here, then you're 4 rows away from the x, 5 columns away from the x. So the 5 is the bigger number, but the total number is the bigger challenge. In which case, the limit is that you can't move more than 3 total offset at a time, so it's going to be r plus c over 3. So that is the minimum number of moves, and then it's going to have to be the ceiling of that, so round up, because it has to be an integer that is at least that, so round up that to 0. Then it is k min plus mod. There's a parity adjustment, which is what? So let's say we're, so that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 and 3. Yes, 4 and 3 is not an offset that you can get to in a number of moves. And so you need to adjust by 1. It's something like k min plus mod k min plus r plus c by 2. I'm not sure that that's right, but let's just try this for a second. Get rid of that, get rid of that, turn it into a lambda. Save lambda as, and I'll call it night dist. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's say row column of all of this. Give me my references, so I want dist between that and let's say row column of here by night dist. Oh, that's a 0. That's definitely not good. What? Well, these zeros. Yeah, it's definitely not good. Oh, yeah, I have a funny feeling I might have used a min instead of a max. It's got to be a max and not a min. So let's try that again. Now it's way too spaced out, but never mind. Yeah, max of these, not the min. Stupid. Okay, so, why is that? Why is it not giving me? It's giving me that, but it's not giving me this correctly. These should be 4s. That's not good. But okay, let's. Oh, this is. Sorry, yeah, no, this is one. That's okay. So 0. Those are all the 1s. Yes, these are wrong. Which? Why is that? Night dist. Oh, ugh, R equals C equals 2. I'm being too much of a mathematician. And actually, let's make it R equals 2 plus C equals 2, just so it'll work with an array. Oh, no, that's not good. What? Oh, sorry, yeah. Edit lambda again. So R equals 2 plus C equals 2 equals 2. They both have to be true. Whee. Not proud of how many iterations of experimentation this has taken me, but all right, so now do we have something that works? So let's see, from here, 4 moves. One knight takes you to there, which is 3 moves, to there, which is 2 moves, there, which is 1 move, there, which is 0 moves. I think that's working. Well, we'll soon find out if it gives me the right answers. So it'll be the same formula as up there, except instead of hex dist, it will be night dist. That gives 2, 6, 9, blah, 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 blah. Yes. Okay, cool. Then I think it's working. Like I said, no. Ooh. That's not good. Interesting. Works for the example in some of the others, but not for all of the others. Okay, hang on. Let's Google night distance formula. What is this? No. No, 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 no. This looks more promising. No, it's just the regular distance formula. No, I saw that one, but that wasn't the right one. It's in here somewhere. Chessboard night distance mathematics stack exchange. That looks promising. Yes, here it is. Max of the larger over 2. Oh, plus m plus m. Oh, plus m plus m minus all this stuff mod 2. Huh? Okay, here's the clean one. So if they're both equal to 1, sorry, if the sum is equal to 1, it's 3. If they're both equal to yes. So this does this mod 2. That's the max of it. I think that's what I did. That's moderately troubling. Don't know. Formula looks to be working. Let's try another example. 3 goes to 2 goes to 1. Yes. 2. Yep. Yeah, you can get there in 2. Get there in 3. That 3 goes to that 2 goes to that 1. Yep, it all seems to work. So, what's the problem? Oh, whoa, we got perm 6 there. Ah, right, because I copied this from there, and then I fixed it over here to be perm 7. Whoops. All right. Still don't understand why that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. It should never work, but anyway, fine. Whew. All right, good. Cool. Bonuses. If you start directly above the grid and then run vertically down with a starting speed of 1 cell per second, and this speed increases by 1 every second, after how many seconds have you overcome the entire Excel grid? Okay. So I think I'm going to scan 0, sequence, let's just say 1000, starting from 1, steps to 0, some, sorry, hang on, am I just incredibly elaborately making sequence? Yes, I am. Okay, so sequence, comma 1000, and then I want to scan that from 0 to that sum, yeah, which is just triangular numbers, right? So after one move, you're in cell 1, then 3, then 6. Okay. So then after n moves, you're in cell n times n plus 1 over 2. So I want that to be greater than or equal to 1,000,000, which means I want n times n plus 1 to be greater than or equal to 2,000,000, which I happen to know, again, mathematician here, that this is n plus half squared greater than or equal to 2,000,000 plus a quarter, if you complete the square. So then we can take the square root, SQRT of all this stuff, minus a half. So I think the answer should be round up SQRT of 2e6 plus 1 over 4 minus a half. Sorry, to 0 decimal places. 1414. So this times, oh, sorry, but not 2,000,000 actually, but 2 to the power of 21, which is a slightly different answer. So then this times this plus 1 over 2, and this minus 1, just going to validate. So the last row is, all my messy workings here, 1048576, and sure enough, that occurs after this many steps. Okay, so put it there. All right, next. Oops. In the bonus 2 sheet is a 500 by 500 grid. There are fixed values and cell references. For the given addresses, how often do you have to follow the cell references to land on a fixed value? The sum of the steps per address is the answer. Example for address R23. So let's look at R23. Ooh, why is this not working? There we go. R23 points to this, which points to this, which points to a value. Okay. So this is another one that I saw some chit chat about. So I will, again, full disclosure, my head has been buzzing away on this one a little bit. So I've got a few ideas here. I'm going to start with the most complicated one, just because why not, for fun. So the first thing I want is, let's just start with R23. Then I am going to put in my recursive pattern, no stack. No stack. Let's do it with stack. Yeah. Okay, so my start is going to be R23. Then my recursive step, prev, is going to be, yep, fine. Then my next is going to be, well, let's pause there for a sec. Add to ref. This is only going to work if I can do this. Oh, sorry. On, call this bonus 2. Tell it where it's looking. So add to ref of that on bonus 2. And then can I get formula text of that? I cannot. Oh, dang. Really? I really thought I could. Okay. Might have to use indirect then. I can do that. My add to ref, I'm not happy that my add to ref does not let me do that. That should be using an index. Let's investigate further. Edit lambda. That is, after a bunch of chit chat, doing an index. An index should return a result that I can. Okay, let's try this. Cancel lambda edit. Okay, a couple of other ideas here that I can try. Number one is, say R23 to, I don't know, RST, say V30. If I do this and this, will that work? The answer is no. Why not? Is it using index? Okay, well that is something I did not know about my add to ref, and I'm not very happy about it. For now, let's just say indirect bonus 2 and this. And can I say formula text of that? I cannot. Okay, well this is not working as well as I had hoped. Okay, next plan, let forms be formula text of bonus 2. Then I want to add to ref of this reference in forms based on the locations in bonus 2. Can I do that? I can. It takes a bloody long time, but I can. Okay, so then let's substitute from here. I'm going to get rid of that. Oh, sorry, yep. Get rid of it and replace it with nothing. Wait, what? Substitute equals with nothing. Okay, good. So then I just want to make sure that I only calculate this once, because that's obviously quite slow to calculate. So there's forms. So then nxt is going to be add to ref, no, not to rcref, to ref of prev. And sorry, I don't need any of this. Just the take part. That's just allowing for if there's multiple columns, but we can keep it simpler. So add to ref of prev on forms based on the locations in bonus 2. That's the next address. Stop is going to be is error nxt. Stack vowels is going to be vstack vowels and next. Yes, that's good. If stop, then I want to return rows of vowels. Otherwise, we're going to make recursive calls. I think that works. Oh, wow, that is slow to calculate. Okay, so that's with the thing telling it to stop after 2 steps. So now let's not tell it to stop after 2 steps and see where it gets to. And hopefully it'll come back with the answer 2. Oh my word, that is desperately slow. I do have another approach that I'll come to in a minute. Well, I actually have a couple of other approaches, but one thing at a time. Wow. Should not be working this hard on that. It's only going a couple of bloody steps. Okay, so that's a fail. Let's just tell it stop after 4 steps. Right, yes, this again. I do have a vague memory that to at make it behave. Yes, okay, good. So then that should now not calculate forever. Okay, good. So then I want to that's my recursive thing. Then I want lambda st to be rec of st. Now I want to map. Now let's just do this one with that. 3, okay, and now where are we going here? Okay, I'm still disappointed that I couldn't do a formula text based on an index. I want to check something. So if I just do index this, let's just do index bonus 2, 7, 5. So I can take row of that, like it's a cell, yes. And I take formula text of it like it's a cell. I can. So what? Okay, now this is really bugging me, and I might, in fact, completely derail this video to go and debug what is going on with that. Anyway, okay, let's finish this off for now. So we're going to text split this by semicolon. I'm going to map this lambda onto that, and we're going to sum it. And that might take a little while to calculate. Sure does. Right, hang on. Let's just take the formula over here. Oh my word. I guess it's all these percoms as well. Everything is a lot of calculation intensity in here. But anyway, all right, let's see what that comes up. Oh, wait, hang on. No, because you wanted to think of that as jump 2 times. Huh, you don't jump 2 times. You 1, 2, 3. Wait, is T 429? Yeah, I gotta refresh my memory. T 429. Oh, that is the one. Okay, fine. In which case, yeah, so it should be rows of vowels. If stop, rows of vowels -1. Okay, because it shouldn't take that long. I guess some of these chains could be absurdly long. Unfortunately, I can't really do much until it calculates, so I guess I'm just going to put the timer up where I think you can see it, and then I'm going to pause the recording, just so you're not sitting here watching me twiddle my thumbs, and then I'll turn it back on when it's done. Okay, I don't remember exactly what time I paused recording, but I think the answer is it has been too long, so it's been at least a few minutes and this is not calculated, so I'm going to give up on that. Which means that I do now need to, oh god, I hope it hasn't frozen. It has frozen. Right, I guess I'm back on pause until it unfreezes. Oh, never mind. All right, there we go. It let me stop. So I need to figure out why my address to ref is not behaving the way that an index does, because that's quite important. Add to ref of this on bonus 2 formula text is not working. Is this just one of these weird things, like if I say map that formula text, will you weirdly work? No. Okay. So let's look at the plumbing of add to ref and try and figure out what's going wrong. Edit lambda. So what's the main thing? Result is if clip, then clip result. If rcrefs, rcref clip clip result. If it's a blah 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 blah. Right. I guess this if is turning it into a calculated array. All right, fine. Then let's do it differently. Let's go with add to row of that. Let's go with index. Bonus 2. Add to row of that. Add to col of that. And can we say formula text of that? No, what? Come on. Are you kidding me? What if I did at? Is this an array thing? Yes, it is. Ugh. Fine. Fine. See if I care. All right, so now, get rid of that. Where are we? Here, the add to ref. We're going to change this to the index. Bonus 2. Add to ref. Now add to row of rev. Add to col of prev. Then formula text of all that. And we want to drop the equals. I guess we'll substitute in formula text equals blank. Okay. Then just make that not plus because next is a cell reference. Okay. Let's just try doing it for one of these, or two of these, or something, I don't know. One of these for now. But that should run faster. Oh, yeah, wow, much faster. Okay. No, oh dear. Maybe one of them starts off. All right, well, let's get rid of the sum and just map them. And we're gonna have to move this somewhere else where we can spill. No, wait, what? Okay, there we go. There is no num error. So what's the bloody problem? Okay. This is going to be one of the hardest wand bonuses I've ever done. Whoa, why is that taking so long? Whew! Alright, at least it's right. Yeah, I had other thoughts, but I realized my other thoughts were mostly for, let's just go and probably cut down my calculation by just hard coding this, hard coding that. And make sure that doesn't break everything. And okay, seriously, what's with the weird num errors appearing? Yep, no, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. Yeah, so I had other approaches, but I realized the other approaches I was thinking of were when I thought the problem was kind of find T429 as opposed to find the number of steps. So, like for example, from R23, from R23, there's a thingy. What are my words? There's a keyboard shortcut to say like go to dependence. So like right now this is pointing to M486, and if I press Control and open curly bracket, that takes me to M486. So if I just did that a whole bunch of times, then that would eventually get to the cell with the single value in it, and then it would throw an error because you can't go to dependence from there. But as you can see, when these chains are long, that can take a long time, and it asks you to do it for 20 different things, and the cumulative number of steps is thousands, so this wouldn't help you much. Anyway, so I'm going to stop that. The thing you could do is Control Shift and open curly bracket would eventually select all the cells that that this cell depends on. So if you could wait around long enough for that to do its thing, then you could count the number of cells there and I guess subtract one. But that is not happening in a hurry. Okay, dinner is eaten, I'm back. Gonna have a go at these last two, but first, while I was sitting mulling, I realized that I missed a much easier way to solve bonus 2. So I'm going to do that now. And the key to it is that, let's just get formula text of it. And I'm just going to change this to and plus 1, and then if error 1. And then I'm going to fill that in everywhere. Copy value paste. And then I'm going to find equals and replace it with equals just to reevaluate all those formulas. Oh my gosh, that's going desperately slowly. Wow. Okay, well, it is a much easier method, but I guess it might not be as much faster as I had hoped. That's, wow. What? It seems crazy to me that it's going so slow. Is there a way to speed it up? Maybe. Maybe if it weren't visually updating all the time, it would go faster. So let's try zooming in and in and in and in and in on one little bit so that it is not visually updating all the time. And then I guess go to constants or text. They're the ones that still, never mind. Don't do that, don't do that. Just start from here. And I guess let's also turn off calculations while it's doing it. Okay. Nope, it's still going unbelievably slowly. Well, not sure I can bear to wait for this. Okay, well, there you go. My genius method. It wasn't that genius. My genius recursive method wasn't that genius either. Nothing is working particularly well on this. I guess it's just a very hard problem. I'm just interested enough in this that I'm gonna watch it run out, but I won't make you watch that. So I'll pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, so that finished running after about 15 minutes of find and replace. So I was sitting at dinner feeling very clever for having come up with this way of solving the case. And actually, if I had done it in a round, it would have been a total disaster because, yeah. But anyway, let's now see if I can at least turn it into the right answer. So here's the text split that gives me all the stuff. So then if I say add to ref of all of that on this version of bonus 2, and -1, because I think that gave one too many. Does that work? 7, 2, 4, 5. It does. Okay, well, it was, turns out, a terrible method, but then this wasn't the easiest method either, I suppose. So, yeah, maybe there are no easy methods. All right. Given a series of numbers with the format row, column, 40770171, this number reflects two addresses. Furthermore, the required steps between the two addresses are known. Diagonals are allowed. 700. What are these addresses? Example. Given 112626 and steps 25, the answer would be A1Z26. Okay. Okay. All right, well, there are some things we can do with this at least. So let's look at this. This is not going to be a general solution. General solution is definitely doable, but it might be very brute forcey to think of like all the ways that you could parse this into a pair of addresses. Although interesting. Does the 0 there mean that there has to be just a D? Because if that 0 is not a letter, and if it was 07, there wouldn't be a 0 there. 40 is too big to be a letter. But then 0 shouldn't be at the start of a number either. Oh, sorry, no, it's row, column, row. Okay, got it. Okay, so the row has to be at least 40. All right, so here's what I'm thinking of. With the diagonals allowed, the difference, the distance is the larger of the row difference and the column difference. Now the column this isn't as clean as I thought, but okay, the column has to end, second column has to end in a 1, because 71 would be too big. Could be 17 or 7. Or just 1. But then all right, so if it ends in a 1, no, because it's based, so I was thinking if there was a difference of 700 and it ended in a 1, then the other thing would have to end in a 1, and the only thing that could end in a 1 would be there, and therefore you would at least know that the row difference rather than the column difference had to be 700. But I don't think you can even say that, because if this was a 7 meaning G, and this was a 1 meaning A, then GA would not be let's just see, equals add to col of GA1. Yeah, it wouldn't end in a 1 at all because it's base 26. Okay, so that doesn't work. Before long, we might have to resort to parsing this up all the different possible ways. Okay, well, what is the len of this? Oops, equals len of this. Maybe we can just brute force it. 8. So, per com, if I have to pick 3 splitting points, that's not great, but okay, per com 8, 3. Put it over there. That's not that many. It's 336. Wait, hang on. Sorry. I want combinations, not permutations. In other words, I want them in ascending order. That's only 56 possibilities. That's something. All right. So then let's say expand. No, not expand that to 4 columns, expanding with. So the first one ends at 1, so the last one should end at 8. No. God, what am I doing? Try 8. So that would mean the first one was 1, the second one was 2, the third one was 3, and then the fourth one was that up to 8. So let's say mid of this. Those 3 positions by those 3 positions minus these, sorry, 4 positions. That's right. The whole thing is running quite slowly now, but anyway. So this would be row, row, column, and the column. Some of these obviously don't work. Wait, hang on, sorry. This one shouldn't just be 1. Should be of length 8 minus 3. Sorry. Yeah, okay, so what we actually need as the starting point is this plus 1. Okay, good. Right. Oh, didn't lock. Whoops. So I'll lock that. Now what? We'll just need to recalculate. Okay. Getting there. Yes, maybe this should only go up to 7. Let's see. So, yeah, I guess I want this to only go up to 7. 35. Okay, oh yeah, there we go. Get rid of those. All right, so there's not actually that many possibilities brute force-wise. Just have to make sense of them. All right, so then is there any situation where the absolute value of the row minus the row is equal to 700? Because if there's not, then we have to get a column difference of 700. But if there is, then maybe we can work with that. And the answer is that there is not. Okay, so we have to get a column difference of that. So I think anything beginning with 0 is not a valid column. So there's actually not that many columns to interpret. Just going to grab a new sheet to put them on. So grab all of those and all of these. And then take the unique values. 9 unique values. Okay. So then 1 is just a 1, 7. 1 could either be A, E, F, G, A, or it could be 17, which is what address? 117, or that's QA. Then 7 is just G, 70 is not possible, 701 is not possible, 71 can be GA, 77 would be GG, 770 is again not possible, and 7701 is not possible. So there's actually not a lot of possibilities. Okay, so then let's do to call of this 3. Come on. Come on. Yep. Then let's do add to call of this and 1. And then we need to find a difference of 700 among these, which I don't think we're going to find. Minus 2 row. Okay. Yeah, let's just be thorough. We'll say unique to call that, and we'll even sort just to be extra thorough, but I don't think there is a 700 in there. There is indeed not. So maybe I'm misinterpreting and excluding the zeros? I don't know. I really don't know. If there's some other way to think about this. So let's see. Can the row difference ever be 700? So this could be, it could be 4, in which case you'd need 704, but there's no 704. There's no 740. There's no 1107. There's no 4777. Yeah, so whatever the starting row number is, the row difference cannot be 700. But then, what on earth can we do? The column difference has to be 700. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on that one. Do I want to look at the answer? Yeah, I guess I do, because I want to convince myself if it's possible. VY407A7. 407 CY. What? Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Wait, sorry. Now I get it. I thought we were converting this letter by letter, but we're not. We're saying the 7. Okay. Got it. In which case, we can go back to my original logic and also just ditch all of this nonsense. Rid of all of this. And the amount of random bits of detritus I've left all over this sheet is incalculable, but never mind. Right, so back to my original logic. If it's just number and number and not converting letters. So if this was 4, if the rows were going to differ by 700, then you need a 704 somewhere, a 740 somewhere, an 1107 somewhere. You'd need a 4777 or a 3377. You don't have any of those. So you can't have a row difference of 700, which means you have to have a column difference of, you have to have a column difference of 700 and a row difference that's smaller. But the second column ends in 1, which means that the first column also has to end in 1, and there's only one other 1. So therefore this has to be the what do you call it, the middle row number. This is the middle column, and then 700 different from that means it has to be that and that. Okay, so equals address of is row constant 407, 701, 4, and address of 714. All right. Cool. Obviously, I cheated by looking at the answer, but okay. There are 3 examples in the bonus 4 sheet. The concatenation of the addresses after they've been sorted in a snail pattern is the answer. For the grid of addresses A1 to AK91, the cell references B21AL. Okay, so got grid before, index after, grid after. So you've got A1, 2, and 3, B1, 2, and 3, C1, 2, and 3, index before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then after we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got it. And then here we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. And here we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. I have a feeling that there is a clever mathematical way to work out a spiral like this. But I don't immediately know what it is. So the alternative is to write, I guess, a recursive function that will make this line, and then make this line, and then make this line, and then make this line, and this line. So what I'll need to make that happen is the ability to rotate a grid, because if I take this off, then this, let me just show you, this minus 5 is now a rotated snail's grid. So if I have a function that will give me the top row and then stack that above, then I can make a recursive call to a smaller grid until I get down to one of the dimensions being 1, and then it's just a sequence. So how do I achieve a rotation? I think I can do it with a mix of flips and transposes, but I'm not sure of that. And my God, everything is calculating slowly. There's so much stuff going on in here. So try flipping just one way. Let's just say not vertical for a second. Yes, and then transpose. Boom. Okay. So now I've got it, except I want to go the other way, so it's going to be transpose. And then flip. Yes. Okay. So in other words, if I can calculate this, then I can calculate this, then I can calculate this, and then I can put something on top of it. Okay. I think we've got something working now. So let's try. I'm going to insert my recursive pattern again. Do I want the stacking one? Yes, I think I do. Recursive pattern with stack. Oh God, I've got different versions of them. That's not good. But fine, we'll go with recursive pattern with stack for now. Okay. I think it's going to be a little bit different. Okay. I'm reluctant to take out too much of my helper stuff here, but let's take out some of it anyway. So let's let first row be sequence, comma, columns of should be an array. Now, so I guess the thing is if, yeah, we should start even before this. We should say if rows are equals 1, say or rows are equals 1, columns, no, sorry. Let's say if rows array equals 1, then the answer is sequence, comma, columns of array. If columns of array equals 1, then the answer is sequence, rows of array. So that's true, now you're false. Okay, I haven't closed that yet. Otherwise, no. Sorry. Here I need otherwise x, and then close them both. Okay. So then it's going to be otherwise vstack sequence, comma, columns of array over, and then what do we need to do? Well, for now, let's just say over rec drop r1. Losing the n here, which would be helpful, but never mind. So let's just say we start from here. We're going to have to apply some rotation and other stuff afterwards, but I think that should do something vaguely intelligible. Oh my god, everything is so slow. There's too much calculation done here. Okay, so first thing is we're going to have to add to this. So this is going to have to be, we're going to have to add the number of columns in the array to this. Good, and then you're going to have to apply a rotation. So if I drop the array first row, then I get this. So once I have it, I want to apply this, which is flip of transpose and 1. So flip of transpose of that. Please work. No, damn it. Okay. All right, so I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an 8, 9. That is not working for me. Oh, yeah, that's because I need to then unflip it. So I think this time it's transpose of flip of all this stuff. That can work. 1, 2, 3. No. Close, but not quite. All right, so I don't know what ST is doing here anymore. Get rid of that. Okay. We are getting there, but somewhere along the way the flips and transposes are going wrong. So that's flip transpose of that. And this is transpose of flip of that. All right, well, try something smaller for a sec. Try just doing. Ugh, God, my battery is so bad these days. Okay, I guess I'm gonna plug in and relocate. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, I was just trying it out with a small one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is not working correctly. Let's go smaller again. Well, I guess let's go even smaller. Let's do this. That you literally can't get wrong. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I want a way to rotate clockwise and a way to rotate anti-clockwise. So transpose, not translate, transpose of flip with horizontal flip and transpose. No, that is not what I want. Okay. That. Yes, okay. Fine. So a clockwise rotation is the inner flip has to be less. Okay, so I want to rotate the grid anti-clockwise, do stuff to it, and then rotate it clockwise. So my clockwise at the end is going to be transpose and flip the first way. Transpose and flip. Okay, so here, try that. That doesn't change anything with that one. Make it bigger. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that looks promising. Okay, so let's just say, and this equals this. True. Happy days. Okay, now let's go bigger. Make it bigger. Let's go straight to the biggest one that we have on offer. Spill. Fine. Go away. Cool. And let's do, and this equals. True. Okay. So finally, let's do, sorry, one more thing. Let's do index of this by that and concat. Let's see if that, ooh, ref, that's not good. What? Oh, sorry, not that. Fine. Let's do x lookup that in so x lookup that in to call of this, returning from to call of this. Does that give me this? Yes, good. Okay, fine. So now, finally, I can do this. I can do this, and for this, I can do, what are the dimensions of this? 37 and 91. So sequence, 91 rows, 37 columns. Just quickly want to check here that this working sequence. I suppose it's 5 rows, 3 columns equals this. Yes, okay. Then I think I'm happy that what I've done should work. Yeah! All right. There's something kind of demoralizing about this. The same with the 2 cases of Jean's that I did. The last one was scored out of 370, and this one was scored out of 340, which makes it feel like it should be, you know, a third of a case, when in fact it's like 2 very hard cases stapled together. This video is going to be absurdly long, but I might put it up anyway because I've had a lot of fun with it, and I think it's not for everyone, but I think a good portion of the people who watch my channel will have a lot of fun with it too. Anyway, that finally is all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.